Hey, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for coming to the channel. We are actually going into ActivInspire today. So I'm sure you've seen this program, you've used it in the past. It's still applicable even now to use, even if you're teaching synchronously or if you're teaching full remote or you have everybody in front of you. This is the program to use, even if you have the TV or you have the old Promethean board, or even if you don't even have those tools and you just are on a school computer and you're teaching remotely. This is an excellent program to use. So we're going to go through the basics and explain how that whole thing works. Let's get started. Okay, so if you're seeing this is basically my basic interface, my buttons, the icons that you would just use to navigate the program respectfully. So we are going to go up to File and we are going to go into the Settings menu. Okay, if for some reason it doesn't look like that, this is what we're getting into now. So right here we're at the settings, and you should be on the profile that says at the board. You don't really want to change that around too much. You want to keep it there. If you do go to mathematics, you'll see like extra math tools. But again, you could always add and edit those tools however you like. You have a bunch of different ones. So we're going to go to at the board. That's the one I use at. And that's the default setting that is set when you first open up the Promethean ActivInspire application. So we're going to go to layout, and from here you could change the size of the icons if you can't see them, if you're at the TV, or if you just need it to be bigger. I usually leave it at 23. That's simple enough for me. The main toolbox, you could dock this anywhere you want. Some people have it floating, and that could be annoying if you're trying to write and you run out of room over here in the white area and you start writing in the blue margin. It becomes annoying and the students can't see it. I usually like to just dock it straight at the top, and you'll see why when we get into it. The next thing is this button down here, show page extender. Make sure you click that. You're going to see a little turquoise button show up at the bottom. We're going to get into that and why that's important to have. And then you're going to go over here to commands. This basically adds and depletes your toolbox with the icons that you think you'll need. Okay, so before we saw a few of them, this is definitely an important one to add over, because you could import PDFs and that makes your life a lot easier. The protractor. Yep, that's it for me. All right, and at that point we're just gonna hit done. Now if you want to remove a certain one, like it's not very important, let's say I want to get rid of select, which is very, very important. I'm gonna press remove, and there, bam, there goes the arrow, it's gone. Okay, so if I want to bring that back, I would click it and go to add, and I can add it back. Okay, if I want to move the order of it, I would just click, highlight whatever one I want. Let's say I want to move protractor because I feel like that's a little bit more important. I'm going to press move up, and as you can see, as it moves up here. It moves more to the left and it becomes more prominent, and I could see it. Okay, people, I've been to multiple classrooms and I noticed that people just try to load things like this, and they'll be writing and solving the problem with the student, and they'll be like, oh, this is the answer, and as they solve it, they'll go down the page, and yeah, the writing goes along and tracks along with it, and that's annoying. Because then you have to remember, even if you're on Zoom and you're annotating across the board and sharing your screen or whatever, I know people do this too, and then you have to clear the page, and then you're going to go to the next one, solve that one, and you have to clear the page, and you have to do this one and clear the page, and then a student says, oh, I forgot to copy something, and then you're going back and you're losing brain cells doing that. There's a simpler way to do this. So I go to File, and I go to import, and I choose the third option, which is the PDF. So if you have any PDFs, you would find them and locate them. And now when you're given the file that you want, before you select it and you create it, you're given three options. So it says original PDF size. You should just leave that alone because you don't want to mess with the aspect ratio. You'll see why in a minute. And you want to go to new flip chart. You don't want to add it to any current flip chart. You're going to want to make it a new tab, basically, kind of like how a new tab works in Chrome, or whether you're in Mozilla, you could just click and browse back and forth. It makes it a lot easier. And this is the important one. Right here, that PDF is 31 pages, the same one we were looking at before. And you could kind of choose whatever one you want. So at this point, I would go to from, and I only want the first 5 pages. And that's pretty important because if you have a module that's like 500 pages, you kind of want to know how many pages you want to import, because it does take a little bit of time to load. I mean, if it's 500 pages, that's going to take forever. So at this point, the student should be able to see this. And the way you would zoom in, you could zoom in perfectly by just clicking the right key over here. You're going to go to the drop down menu where it says best fit, and you're going to go to fit to width. And bam, it's pretty big and all the students could see it, and you'll be even able to write on it. Now, here's the best part. As you're circling those clues and underlining what's important and getting the answer and solving it, whatever you use, vertical, whatever, when you scroll down, the writing will stay in one place. It's like you're physically writing on the paper, okay? And it also makes it easier about what we added that tool before. I could press this guy and now put him over here and measure this with the students. Okay, and that makes it pretty simple, and I could write it with them and do all that kind of good stuff, and boom, I would just use that, and you know, I could circle whatever answer it would be. Let me take that back. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and once I get to the bottom of the page, I would click over here, which is the next page. So this brings me to page 2. Okay, let me get rid of that close. This is page 2 and all of those things that we were answering before. And again, nothing moves as I write on it. I can move up and down the page and the writing is staying stationary. Solve this guy. Solve this guy. Okay, so here is our next tool. So when you get a multi-step problem and you're running out of room, or let's say it is a short response question and you're just kind of running out of room down here, this is where this blue button comes in handy. If you forgot how to get to it, you can go up here to view. There's another way to get to it, and you could go to page extender. It should be checked. If it's not checked, you're not going to see the blue guy. So we're going to go to view, and again, page extender. Once you press it, it makes the page longer. Yes, it elongates the page. It gives you more room to write whatever you need to write, and that makes your life a lot easier. So when I zoom out here, I'm going to go to fit to height. Notice this page is elongated, and the pages before it were not. Okay, and it doesn't change the quality of the picture. When I go to fit to width, I'm zoomed in, I can see what I need to see. I can go to highlighter, highlight the important vocabulary that I want to pull out, and that makes it easier for my life. So again, super helpful tool, especially if you're importing PDFs. Try not to just share your screen with Zoom and then just start writing on the board. That becomes hectic pretty soon, and it messes with you after a while. Okay, so we had a few other options I wanted to touch on really quickly. The second option is if you go to File and you go to Import, and you have 2 options with your PowerPoints. So if you import as an image, it creates a background image. Okay, so now this is a background image that I can then use to solve the question, right? I can count these 3, and as I write on it, nothing's moving, and if I click the selector tool, nothing can be moved. Okay, the only thing that's clickable here and movable is the writing that I just created. But again, this is completely immovable. So this is good if you have an activity sheet through Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's like editable, and you could just kind of change the numbers or something, and you want to post that into here. This would be a good thing, because now you can't move any of the text boxes around. You could only touch and move it. If I go to import and I go to import PowerPoint as objects, we're going to go to desktop and demo. So now everything becomes a movable object, which means this guy I can move. This guy is a piece. This guy's a piece. Everything that originally was created in the PowerPoint is editable and movable. Even this, if I double click on it, it's actually a text box that I can actually edit and change myself. And then I can grab and touch these and move these around too. Okay. Okay, so quick review. Make sure you go to File and you go to Settings and you enable at the board, your layout. You could fix the icon, dock your icons up at the top. It makes it easier for you. Or if you want to dock it at the bottom, that's good for first grade, just in case you have them come to the board because they're way too short to push these buttons. Maybe if you dock it at the bottom, they could reach it. The next thing is show the page extender, or you can go over to File and go to the page extender there. Make sure you add those certain commands like we saw before, import PDF and protractor and ruler and any extra math tools that you might see. Go through these and kind of see what's here and what you could do. The second thing was always try your best to import PDFs. It makes it easier. You could turn all math lessons into reading lessons, and that makes your life a lot easier. Last but not least, you can add PowerPoints as images where the background is completely immovable, or you can add it as objects where everything is editable on the page. I hope you found this video helpful and enjoyable. We're going to be getting into our very next guy, which is Zoom, I think. We'll see. I don't know. All right.